Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Eric. In today's video what we're going to be doing is a expel paint protection film installation on the front bumper of this 2016 Chevy Silverado. So right now I have the bumper pre-cut. It's on my weeding board, just weeding out the excess film from the pattern as well as weeding out the PDC sensors. So next what I'm going to do is take Adam's Ceramic Boost and spray that on the film. What this is going to do is it's just going to help the film be a whole lot slicker. It's going to help the squeegee glide a lot better. And it's just going to help overall make the installation a whole lot easier. So up next what we're doing is a full alcohol wipe down surface prep of the bumper. So we're using 99% isopropyl alcohol. This is by far the most important part of the prep process, as you want to make sure that the surface is properly prepped and the paint is nice and tacky. That way the film can bond to the paint and just make your overall installation a whole lot easier. So next what we're doing is we're spraying the whole bumper down with our slip solution, and we're taking our squeegee and we're just doing one final wipe down to remove any dust or any particles of contamination that may have landed on the bumper. Just getting it prepped for the install. So now what we're doing is we're spraying the whole bumper down with our slip solution in preparation for the paint protection film install to begin. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to back roll the film onto the vehicle. I made myself a dry spot right on the edge of the bumper where I could stick the film onto. So what this is going to do is it's just going to help me back roll the film onto the bumper and not have to worry that the bumper is going to fall on the ground. So pull the film back, get a bunch of slip solution behind there, and get ready to start the install. So when you're installing paint protection film on a bumper that has got sensors, those are your starting points. You always want to start at the sensors. So getting some tack solution underneath the film right here and getting that sensor lined up. I'm going to squeegee that down and then move over and do the next sensor. So a bit of a backstory with me and these trucks. I got trained by Expel on how to install paint protection film a couple years ago, and after I took my training I came back, and one of the first customer jobs I had was one of these Silverados with this exact bumper. And you know, I had all the confidence in the world in my ability to do the installation, and that bumper humbled me really badly. I think it took me 6 if not 7 tries to get it, and finally before it was done I had somebody come in and do the installation for me who had done a number of these bumpers, and they kind of showed me what I needed to do to get these bumpers installed. These bumpers, they have a crazy amount of stretch, and as you can see when I'm stretching to line up these sensors, there's a bunch of stretch required. So it's important you start at the sensors, get your tack solution in there, get those sensors lined up, and then everything else can kind of fall into place. One thing I also did on these bumpers is the fog lights. I don't have those pre-cut out. I find with the pre-cut templates, just due to the amount of stretch that's involved when installing, over time those the film around the fog lights can start to peel back, or they can start to even rip the film just because of how much tension there is. So when I'm cutting the film for these bumpers, I always take and delete the fog lights, and I get the film installed, I get the film tacked down, and I just take a knife and carefully trim out those fog lights. By doing that, I can get better coverage. I can get the film trimmed right up to the edge, right around the fog light, as opposed to the pre-cut pattern. You have about a 1/4 inch gap all the way around the fog light. So yeah, these bumpers, they're a super difficult bumper to install, especially if you've never done one before. But you know, practice makes perfect, and after doing probably 30 of these bumpers over the last couple of years, I feel they're my favorite bumper to do. So they're a fun installation. They're still pretty difficult, but I always enjoy when I get my chance to do one of these. So now what I'm about to do is I'm going to get the film locked down on the top middle of the bumper. So I'm going to get a bunch of slip solution and tack solution in behind there. I'm going to massage the film down just with my hands at first, just to try and get it all to sit down before I take the squeegee and I start working from that body line and start pushing all the moisture outwards. So edges are very easy to get moisture trapped on there, so that's why I'm spending a lot of time on that edge right now. Actually, the squeegee that I'm using is Fusion Turbo, the pink one. I find that this squeegee it's very flexible, so it's really good for installing film over edges where, you know, moisture tends to get caught. It's just really good for making sure that all that moisture can get pushed out and that there's none left behind. Okay, so now I'm about to start installing the film on the passenger side, from the fog lamp all the way to the end of the bumper. So this is the area where there's the most stretch on these bumpers. As you can see, my hands are slipping there just trying to install it. So take some tack solution, spray some behind the film and onto the paint, and give it a big stretch. Lock it into place in my hand, squeegee it down, and then continue on from there. So as you can see, I got about a 1-inch overlap that I added on to the bumper. So just extra film that's going to help give some extra protection in the wheel well. And it's just going to allow for a cleaner looking installation as well. So now I'm going to continue to squeegee out the slip solution everywhere else before starting to take some tack solution and spray it around this edge over here. So spray some tack solution in along the top part of this bumper as well, and get the top edge down So it's important to get these top and bottom edges down before you start doing anything with the fog lamp, as you want to make sure that that film is not going to go anywhere. Just due to the amount of stretch, you just want to make sure that that film's down and in place before you start trimming out any fog lamps. Okay, so right now what I'm about to start doing is trimming out the fog lamp area. So what I do is just very lightly cut the film with the knife and just make a bit of a smaller hole just so I can get some tack solution in there. As you can see, got some tack solution in there, and I'm just squeegeeing that out and getting that film tucked in nice and close to the edge. Okay, so now I'm going to trim off the excess paint protection film around the headlamps. So as you can see, I'm going super slow with the knife. The blade pressure is minimal at best. All I'm trying to really do is just score the film instead of just cutting right through. At that point, then you're cutting into paint. I do find this is the best way to do these headlamps on these vehicles, as you know, the customer is paying for protection and they want the most amount of protection possible. So if you can get the film as close to the headlamp as possible and minimize the amount of exposed paint there is, all the best. Okay, now that I've got the film installed on the vehicle, the very last thing I like to do after an installation is post heat everything. So I'm going to take the heat gun and a rag, and I'm just going to go around and heat up all the edges and press out any remaining moisture that's left behind. Kind of like what I mentioned earlier in the video about prepping the paint prior to the installation, how that's critically important. I find this equally as important, as once this installation is done, I don't want this truck coming back into the shop for any repair work. So I find that post-heating everything is just going to seal off the film to the vehicle and allow me to send it out the door. So, and given where I'm located up in Canada, we're going into winter, which means the temperatures are going to be colder. I want to make sure that this film is on the vehicle and it's not going to be coming up anytime soon. And last but not least, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure you hit the like button, leave a comment if you feel led to, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more future content. I hope to be doing videos like this on a weekly basis, and yeah, could use your support. Thanks.